That's like he calculates like the best time to have a meeting. Yeah. So it's just like the cool version. Me too. That's a finishing paper after this. I'm really really need to come on. And then there's coding on an demo activity bylaws. My dad is really against me. It's like
I would have up until like games I was saying, but now the games are like the fastest. All the Mac haters.
I got Black Friday deals.
MacBooks are never the best way to go with deals. Because this one, my dad got like I don't think I've ever bought a tech product.
Okay, Bella, I think that's a lie.
I haven't bought a tech product.
Good evening, everyone. Call to order 7 p.m. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, whether you're online or in person. We appreciate you taking the time. In a moment, senators will start introductions, names, pronouns, positions, answering the question of the day. What is your favorite movie to watch? I'll begin. My name is Talib Lopez. I'm the ASUO Senate President. I'm the Department of Planning Committee, Peter pronouns. And I am going to say the first. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Hikachi Apaku and I'm the ASUO Vice President. I use she, her pronouns. I haven't quite thought of this, but let's reuse Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Hi, my name is Marisol Peters. I'm PFC Senate Seat 2, and my favorite holiday movie is obviously Elle.
Hello, Anthony Lopez, PFC Senate Seat 3, and I was about to say the Elf, but now I will say the Christmas Family Christmas because it reminds me of my own family.
My name is Salma Mohammed, PFC Seat 4. My favorite movie to watch in holidays is Home Alone 2.
Hi, my name is Eleanor Potter. I use she, her pronouns in Senate Seat 6. And actually, my favorite holiday movie is also Home Alone 2. I just watched it and I was like, this is way better than the first one.
We got it. Jordan Ackman, Senate Seat 7, CFC, he, him pronouns. I think the Polar Express. I think that was a good, solid. Yeah, underrated.
Hi everyone, my name is Victoria Pinheiro. I use she, her pronouns. I'm Senate Seat 9, Department's Finance Committee, and my favorite holiday movie is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Last set of the turn, everybody. My name is Priscilla Moreno. I use she, her pronouns. I'm at Seat 10, part of the Department of Finance Committee and Senate Treasurer. And my favorite Christmas movie is the live action How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Hi, senators and audience members. My name is Jess Fisher. I use any pronouns. I'm Senate 11. I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't personally think there are any like super good movies, but I love Nightmare Before Christmas because the Halloween aspect and stop motion.
Hello, I'm Rachel Withers. I use she, her pronouns. I'm Senate Seat 12. And I think my favorite Christmas movie has to be White Christmas. Hello, everybody. My name is Ruth Ramirez Panetta. I use she, her pronouns. Senate Seat 13, Academic Committee. And I think for me, it's a tie between the live action The Grinch and Home Alone with the first one.
Senator Wu.
Hello, my name is Joanne Wu. I go by she, her pronouns. I represent psychology students for Senate Seat 15. And my favorite movie has also got to be Home Alone 2. I love it. It's just very comfortable, cozy vibes for me.
Home Alone 2.
Everyone, my name is Bella Esbeck. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the academic chair and the academic seat 16 representing the College of Design. And during the holidays, I like watching really low budget, bad holiday movies. Like Hallmark.
Hi, I'm Fran Padilla, Senate seat 17, and I like it.
Hey Squad, Liz Scrooge, Senate Seat 18, School Journalism and Communication. Yeah, can't go wrong with Polar Express, Elf, Home Alone 2. But however, my fave, I think, is The Holiday. Jude Law. Yeah, eat it up.
Hi everyone, JD Dillon, Senate Seat 19, from the business school, and everyone else said it, but Home Alone 2 is just the best.
Hello, my name is Erin Ludeman, she, her pronouns, Senate seat 20, academic vice chair. And I qualify this as a holiday movie, and I say the first Harry Potter movie.
Hi, my name is Rain, I'm 21, any pronouns, and my favorite holiday movie is probably, I know it, I just can't remember the name. It's the one with the two kids. But it involves,
Does it involve Christmas too?
yeah, it involves Christmas.
Well, if it comes back to let us know. Senator Sharm.
Hi, I'm Andrew Ducharme, he, him pronouns, Senate seat 22, representing graduate students in the College of Arts and Sciences and the College of Design, and the modern classic Elf.
Cool.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily Cole. I use she, they pronouns, Senate seat 23. My favorite holiday movie is Christmas Vacation.
Hello, my name is Daniel Vo, Senate seat 5, COC. I use he, him pronouns. First thing that comes to mind is Home Alone 2 as well.
Hi, I'm Sierra. I'm Melissa Perks. I also don't celebrate Christmas, but I think like the Gremlins has like Christmassy aspects, and that's the only that's coming to mind. So, yeah. I'm Chair Garrity. I use she, her pronouns. I'm PFC chair, Senate vice president, and I don't really watch Christmas movies, so I think like the two that I can choose from are The Polar Express and probably Medea Christmas.
All right. Do we have anybody today for the landing bell? Look.
University of Oregon is located on Calpuya land. Calpuya, Lahili, the traditional indigenous homeland of the Calpuya people. Following the treaty between 1851 and 1855, Calpuya people were disposed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. Today, Calpuya descendants are proudly citizens of the confederated tribes of Ram, Rond, and the confederated tribes of Siletz Indians, and they continue to make important contributions to their communities, to the UO, to the lands now known as Oregon, and to the world. In the following Indigenous protocol of acknowledging the original people of the land we occupy, we also extend our respects to the 9 federally recognized Indigenous nations of Oregon: the Burns Pitsons tribe, the confederated tribes of Coos, Umpqua, and Sioux-Usla, the confederated tribes of the Grand Ronde, the confederated tribes of Slits Indians, the confederated tribes of New Reservation, the confederated tribes of Warm Springs, Cool Indian tribe, the Cool Creek, and Umpqua tribe in the tribe of Indians, and the Klamath tribe. We express our respect to the many more tribes who have that ancestral connection to this territory, including the Chinook Indian Nation and the Fort McDermott, Patuut, and Shoshone. I am butchering this through, I'm sorry. Tribes as well as to other displaced indigenous people who call for him.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second, Roberta.
Motion made by Dylan, seconded Mayor Spinella. All in favor? Opposed? Other? Do we have anyone today for announcements? And so
Everyone, my name is Callie, I'm from Oxford. A little bit of an update for us. So we're looking ahead to the 2025. And this week we concluded our campaign selection for the winter. It's really exciting. As many of you know, we are student run, meaning that the campaigns that we run the campaigns that students care about the most. So this is why we vote on the campaigns every term and decide what we want to prioritize. To give a little bit of context on proposals, leaders in the chapter have proposed campaigns that they would like to run in the winter. And this term we had 5 students pitch and have their fall campaign proposals of their chapter and then 1 campaign. So next term Priscilla will be running the Better Bag Ban, working to get the Oregon legislature to ban all single-use plastic bags funding. Our chapter chair Sam will be running our Protect Our Oceans campaign, working to convince the U.S. Department of Fish and Wildlife to bring sea otters back to their Oregon coast and get the Oregon legislature to fund a rocky habitat program in order to protect wildlife. Addie, our previous chapter chair, will be running our Affordable Textbooks campaign, working to get the incoming U.S. Congress to pass the Affordable College Textbooks Act, investing millions of dollars into open educational resources in Oregon and across the U.S. Riley, one of our board members, will be running our health and safety campaign, working to get the Eugene City Council to increase the number of blue lights in the state of Eugene, particularly along paths with a lot of student foot traffic. And I will be running our food waste campaign, which is a new one. We're going to be working to pass the Food and Date Labeling Act in Oregon to standardize date labels to reduce unnecessary waste, combat hunger, and divert food to food banks and pantries, and directing big restaurants and food companies to dispose of their food waste via alternative means than simply trash. And then federal update. Osberg is currently reflecting and evaluating our path for continuing to make social change at the federal level, as well as the new Congress is preparing to be seated at the beginning of January. As part of that process, all of our advocates attended a League of Cultivation Voters breakfast with members. And we spoke with those members about our 2025 federal priorities, which are the Plastic Pellet Free Waters Act, defending clean energy credits, and right to repair. And then a little victory, the administration has finalized a fee on methane waste from oil and gas facilities, which we had supported in the Inflation Reduction Act. And we have a little article if anyone's interested in reading it. Oh, my favorite holiday movie is also the live action. Actually, that's okay. Hey everybody, I've listened to many of you because I'm very excited. Sophia and I are going to the Oregon Zoo on Friday to speak on a panel and also to youth on their up and coming youth advocates program. I don't really know what it's called exactly, but we're going to be giving a training on how to run an effective wildlife conservation campaign, and we're going to be talking about our honors campaign. We'll be talking about different tactics like grassroots and grass talks and all the fun stuff that we do on campus. And I'm really excited because we get to speak to, I think it's 13 to 17-year-olds about the advocacy work that we're doing on campus and ways that they can get involved too. So I'm very excited. I will update you next time we speak, which is in the new year.
Thank you both. Do we have anybody else for announcements?
My name is Emmett Unstall. Favorite holiday movie, with Polar Express.
My name's Stella Rav. I use she, her pronouns, and I would say I'm gonna go actually the newest Grinch because that's probably that's a hot take, right? I mean, but the Tyler the Creator soundtrack in it, it gets I'm looking. My favorite. Yeah, that's why.
Well, with the University of Oregon Real Estate Investment Group, 2 weeks ago, you guys approved that we're finally going to New York. Each month, the moment saying thank you guys for that once again. To all students, they're all very excited. Yeah.
So we also wrote you guys some little thank you notes if we could hand those out. But yeah, it's amazing to feel support as a student organization, and we just really want to say thank you, and we're so grateful for the opportunity. We're really excited. So
Thank you.
thanks.
It's like kind of made my day.
I know, right?
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have so much fun. Happy holidays.
That was so great. Well, that was helpful in week 10, wasn't it? Do we have anybody else here today for announcements? Public forum, going once. Going twice. All right. Okay, we'll get on to. Actually, I'll give you the financial status update. Surplus is standing at $1,084,216. If you see a big discrepancy, that's following $137,000 last week. And unallocated reserve is still at $34,894. And before we begin with financial business today, we're super honored to be nominating Zoe for Senate Seat 24, and she's being tonight. So if you want to come on up and introduce yourself, and then we can.
Hi everyone, my name is Zoe. I'm from Jersey. I am, I know what to say. Oh, my favorite Christmas movie is, someone mentioned it, but National Lampoon's Christmas Holiday Vacation. That's a really good one. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here. So.
Okay, so y'all know how confirmations go. We'll ask questions. Then we'll get on with the rest of it. But I do want to say, actually, yeah, we'll start with questions first. Screw it.
It's Zoe, so good to see you again. I'm so excited for this. So could you just kind of inform the whole Senate a little bit about any of your past experience that may relate to this role? Yeah, I guess we'll start there.
Yeah. So in high school, I was really involved with a program called YMCA Youth Government. It's a national program ran by the YMCA, obviously, but for each state, they have, their own program. And it's basically just to mirror, your state legislature. So I was really involved with that program. My freshman year, I was just, I was in the legislative branch as just a participant. And then I became a state executive my sophomore and freshman year. And then my sophomore and junior year, and then my junior year, I ran to be youth governor. So I was youth governor of New Jersey my senior year of high school. So I have a lot of experience with, managing different kind of groups of people. There were the different kind of delegations in New Jersey were just different kinds of schools. So it was a lot of kind of managing and overseeing different leadership positions within the program. That is kind of where a lot of my recent experience comes from. I also did a lot of I did a program called Model United Nations, which I'm sure all of you know, and that was also through the YMCA, and I chair the World Health Organization. So those are kind of my bigger areas. And the reason why I'm a biology major, but I'm minoring in global health, and I've always been really interested in the intersection between STEM and government. And that's why I love student government so much. Because in high school, I was able to, that's why I love doing the World Health Organization, because it's like, in my opinion, a perfect example of that intersection. So, yeah.
Yeah, perfect answer. Thank you so much for getting into that a little bit. I do have one other question, just kind of leading, you kind of started to answer this, but could you go into why, based off your experience, why now you're interested in this role specifically?
Yeah. I loved student government when I was in high school. It was one of the, especially like I think we can all agree in high school, it's kind of hard to feel like you're passionate about something, especially when you're taking all these classes that can be really boring and blah, blah, blah. But I really, really felt like student government was an area that I was super passionate about and I would get excited about it. And it was something that was kind of an escape for me in high school. And when I heard about this program in college, I was like, why would I not want to continue that? So yeah, I think that's kind of one of the biggest things that draws me to ASUO. Yeah, I think student government is really just such a really cool thing to see so many young people interested in uplifting their peers in that kind of way, and I love that about it. So I really love the chance to do that in college. So yeah.
Thank you, I yield.
Withers.
Hi, thank you for coming, talking to us like this in the scary environment. Have you noticed any issues on campus or anything? Like, is there a specific reason why you want to join student government other than your previous experience? Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing is in terms of issues, I mean, I obviously am, one issue that I've kind of thought about lately is I am obviously from far away and I need to get to the airport in some way, and it would be super helpful if like Duck Rides had an option for you to, take you to the airport in that kind of way. But I'm still really, really interested in, one of the things that draws me to the position too is being able to talk to my peers too and learn about what's going on. I, am just really interested in, one of the things I tell people is that I'm a very curious person. So I'm always interested in learning how, we can be a middle ground between, uplifting students and helping their experiences. So yeah, I think that would definitely be an area that I would be really interested in, obviously, talking to people here, especially from a first year perspective, what they think would be helpful to improve on campus. And then another thing that I'll say too is I definitely have a lot of interest, even though I have a major, but I think the cool thing about first year representative is that it encompasses everyone that's a first year, and we all have different interests and experiences. And I think it's important that, your first year representative is not someone that's totally driven into one area. They're interested in so many other areas, because if you're interested in so many other areas, then you're curious in how you can help other people. So I think that's, generally another thing.
Thank you so much, Mayo.
Hey, sure.
Honestly, my questions basically got asked, but I guess thank you for coming, but I just wanted to know, in terms of like capacity, being a first year, you're in STEM classes, do you think that the time commitment at ASUO would like work with your schedule in a way that's not totally draining to you and your mental health?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think absolutely. One of the things that I'm finding, and I understand that my classes are going to get harder, obviously, but I'm actually finding that my time management in college is working a lot better than high school. I called my mom yesterday and I was like, Mom, I'm actually not stressed at all about finals. And maybe that's a bad thing to say.
I would right now, girl.
I know. But I really think that I'm ready to add more to my plate. One of my goals for my first term in college, and it's been a learning curve and everything, but one of my goals was to leave the term feeling like, okay, I am comfortable with my lifestyle, what more can I add? And I think this is definitely something that I would want to add to my plate. So
that's really great to hear. Thank you.
I would love to hear you kind of talk a little bit about any potential like challenges you could foresee yourself having in this role, or even discuss a little bit about like weaknesses that you think you could maybe develop a little bit more.
Yeah, I think one of the areas that I would definitely say would be a barrier for me is I'm in the honors college, and I totally understand that being in the honors college, I definitely am given more resources than the rest of the general student population. I live in New Res, so I think that would be another big barrier that would prevent me from kind of getting a full understanding of like the freshman or the typical first year experience at UO. And to that, I would just say that I understand, I've been in student government. I understand that sometimes it's hard to get the word out about student government, to get people to care about it. But I think that simply, I know that there's a chance to have office hours as as a first year representative. And I think that one of the things that I would really try to do is, put signs out, introduce myself to as many people as I can, especially people that aren't in the Honors College, of course, to make sure that I'm getting, a full understanding of what's happening on campus for first year representatives. And then also just to add what you said about like weaknesses, I think for me too, one of my weaknesses that I am really trying to work on in college, because I think a lot of you can maybe relate to this, but in high school, I definitely bit off a lot more than I could chew, and I just really did a lot more than I should have been doing. And the thing about me is I generally think that I can do a lot more than I can, and then I'll find myself stressed and overwhelmed. I always see things through, but sometimes, especially in high school, I had to ask myself at what cost for my mental health. So I think that that's something that I'm definitely is an ongoing thing that I'm working on, and I think that in this role, it would be something that I would definitely be cognizant of and think about. But this work is something that I'm really passionate about, and I have a good amount of free time right now, and I'm looking for different ways to fill my time with that. And I think that this would be a really good way to, learn and work on my weaknesses in that capacity as well.
Amira Spinetta?
Great. Thank you so much for being here, Zoe. I have two questions. My first question is, I know you already spoke a little bit about being involved with the Honors College, but is there any other area or any other club or organization on campus that you've been involved in or are curious about potentially joining?
Yeah, I signed up I'm in ski club in the summer, which I'm really, really excited about. I skied a lot when I was in high school and especially middle school. So I'm really excited to be able to do that. And then I think I'm just also, I'm interested, I'm still, again, my options are very open, but I've been to the Global Health Club and I've gotten involved in that area. I've been to, the Pre-Health Club and I've checked those kind of clubs out as well. So I think one of my things is just as possible. So it's one of the things that I was really excited about going into college was how many opportunities are here, but it's also definitely overwhelming because it's hard to know where to start. But yeah, I think for me, it's just kind of like jumping around right now and trying to figure out what I like and what I don't like in that kind of way. Yeah.
Great. And my second question is, what do you do for self-care?
I love to run. I do a lot of yoga. I like doing yoga. That's another kind of area that I like. I love to bake. Unfortunately, I can't do that in the dorm. So going home and baking is definitely something that I'm really excited about. But yeah, I think that those are definitely my areas of self-care, just hanging out with friends too. It's nice to be in a dorm right now and just at the end of the day, just kind of like unwind with my friends and stuff. So yeah.
Great, thank you, Ayul.
And you didn't notice, but that question that Ruth just asked you is a famous question that gets asked at every confirmation.
So got it.
Okay. Anybody else? Rhoda?
Hi, Zoe. Thank you so much for being here. I was looking over your resume, and I'm really interested in the migrant farm worker project, why you did it, and what you learned doing that.
Yeah. So that project that I did my freshman year of school, so definitely a little while back. I was a freshman in high school the year of Zoom, so my first year of high school was over Zoom, and that was definitely a little rough. But my Spanish teacher kind of asked a couple of students in the class to be involved with the project. And basically, what we did was, I forget what organization we were paired with. We were originally working with like a college student from Villanova, and then that kind of fell through. So we kind of had to kind of change gears a little bit with who we were interviewing. But my friends or my group and I interviewed a man named Jose Perez, and he was it was like over like 6 or 7 kind of Zoom calls where he kind of told us the story about being a child of migrant farm workers and his experience, college and education and all that stuff. And yeah, I think that was definitely as a freshman in high school and over Zoom, being able to do that was definitely a really, really good experience for me. Yeah, I got a lot of kind of cool skills from it as well, whether that was interviewing with and then also just making all of that into a podcast. So yeah, that's yeah, it was really, really cool project.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ayo.
Do we have anybody else? Okay, so if you want to step out, we'll deliberate and we'll have somebody bring you back in. Sure. That doesn't matter. I will say before we get started that this position is so unique because you basically know nothing before you come into it. A lot of you knew ASUO through like other things, people, and Zoe had found out about it before, so wasn't here on campus. So I think she did an exceptional job answering questions in detail. And Zoe reached out to me over the summer and actually had a call with me just to get more information about this ASUO and the role it plays in our school before. And the one thing that I noticed about that call is the question she was asking me. I almost felt like I was giving it. And so I think that she's a very, very insightful, like she's a very curious person. Okay, Fisher and then Moreno.
Yeah, to speak to your point, I think that, you know, not knowing anything and then like jumping into this environment I think that she's like one of the perfect people for that and like absolutely is gonna flourish and like learn a lot from being an ASUO and like, yeah, I'm perfectly in favor. I yield.
Right.
Yeah, so I know that somebody else was initially going to be appointed first. And I guess this is a question to the people that interviewed both of them. She seems really great. I'm wondering what it is, like what made her not the person originally?
That's a great question. We had when we were going through this, and I will say, Bella's pick for this originally was Zoe. And Zoe obviously comes from a very much, what did you say earlier, Bella? Very student government coded, right? And Alasia comes from a leadership background, but something different from dance, basketball, and track. She was leadership in all those different things. Something that was really important to me was that was somebody who was coming from a different background into this. And I think when you're talking about different perspectives, that is really important. Yes. It's great.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to help out with some of the first round interviews. And I wasn't in the decision process. However, like I still, you know me, I have a loud voice. So I was very adamant that Zoe was like better than me as a senator already. And like she doesn't know what's going on. But the thing that I really liked about her is that she didn't just have the experience, but she had the vibes as well. I think a lot of things that we've been hiring off of is like, are they a good person? Zoe isn't like we interviewed. There were a lot of people that were in the first round interviews, and a lot of them had like a wide range of experience and talents in respective areas. Zoe not only had hit every point of well-rounded experience relating to student government, class involvement, like extracurriculars, a lot of the projects she worked on, but she just was like a very conversational person, very poignant, very straight to the point. Even though like all of her answers were very like long, it was like in detail and it was answering everybody's questions fully, and that's exactly how she was in the interview. And it just comes off that she was very down to earth and very like professional, very respectful of this position. And I literally could not be more in favor of this candidate and her appointment. So yeah.
Ramirez Pineda.
Yeah, just to add on to what Liz was saying, I think one, loved her answers. Her answers were great. Also, like before the meeting, she was hanging around and just like talking to everyone, and I can only like assume how scary. Like I know it's scary to come in here, you're a first year student, you don't know, anybody other than the people who interviewed you, and to like kind of go out of your way and be like, my name's Zoe, like, and start a conversation. I don't know, that told me a lot about the type of person that she is, and like outgoing, and I love that, as well as like she mentioned like being and touching in different areas of like campus, right? She's like biology and involved in global health and like kind of reaching different areas of campus. And I love that because I think as a first year representative, like, as a freshman, you are supposed to be curious. And like, I love that she is doing that, well, kind of like she is government coded, but she's still like trying to like stay curious and keep an open mind for different things. Yeah.
And she didn't run away after that rendition of that last episode. That was back in the Nagaraj.
I mean, what I was gonna say is pretty much been said. She was my top pick for the role. I think she would fit in really well with academic committee, and having to onboard someone so late, you're throwing a lot at them. There's like a lot of different requirements to be a senator and even for the academic senator, and I think she would do a really great job at adapting and being proactive about certain things. But yeah, I think she's like the perfect mix of approachable, but also like focused and ready to do the work. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was impressed with her answer when she was asked like about her weaknesses, like when she talked about how there would be like a gap between her and like typical college students, her being in like the honors college. I found it impressive how she was able to think like that. I think that answer really impressed me, and I was like, that's very mature for first year students. So I think only good, especially with everyone else.
Sounds like to me we have a consensus. Now all we need is a motion.
What's her last name again?
Jenkins Hiscox.
Oh yeah, sorry. I move to appoint Zoe Jenkins Hiscox to Senate seat 24.
Let's do both.
I will.
Go second and look. Peters.
Aye.
Lopez. Aye. Mahali.
Aye.
Bo. Aye. Potter. Aye.
Aye.
Moreno. Fisher.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Rio Senate.
Aye.
Woo.
Aye.
Nagaraj. Aye. Hesday.
Aye.
Back to Lynn. Scroll.
Aye.
Dillon. Aye. Goodman.
Aye.
Bell. Ducharme.
Aye.
Cole.
Aye.
Terry.
Nay.
And I say aye as well. So ordered. Somebody bring it.
Oh, you can go get her. Go ahead.
We should have music.
I know.
Jeopardy music.
Jeopardy music. She just did a walk around. Yeah.
Congratulations, Zoe. Welcome to the team. You can come join us over here.
Yay!
Okay.
Congratulations. Graduating from the gallery.
Now we will move on to our financial requests. First up is an unallocated reserve request from Text for Israel. Is anyone here to speak on it? I move to hear the unallocated reserve request from Text for Israel.
Second throw.
Motion made by Liz, second scroll.
Aye.
Opposed? Great.
Hello, everyone. It's great to see you again. I know we met during week 1. Thank you again for the money you allocated for us this term. I'm Romy, by the way, President Doug's as well. Our treasurer, Jordan Brandt, has a statement for you.
Hello, ASUO Senators. My name is Jordan Brandt, and I'm the treasurer of Ducks for Israel. My organization's mission is to create a safe and inclusive space at the University of Oregon where we celebrate Israel's rich and diverse history and culture. I'm excited to share that through events held this fall term, interest in our organization is growing. We were only recently recognized by ASUO as an official student organization in the spring of 2024. But already, we've grown a vibrant WhatsApp group with over 70 members, over 300 followers on our Instagram page, and nearly 30 members on our Engage website. This ever-growing interest reflects a strong desire among students to engage with and learn about Israeli culture and will continue to benefit them and the entire UO community. Through dialogue, learning, and interaction, we believe that we can help break down barriers and foster understanding amongst our peers and encourage that. Our programs are designed to encourage meaningful connections and promote inclusivity on campus. Today, we are requesting your support in the total amount of $1,000 to be split between the winter and spring terms of 2025. This money would help us enhance our programming and
approaching term and push it even further beyond what we were capable of putting on prior. With your generosity, we were able to host this term a welcome back picnic that fostered new connections with our community, a vigil commemorating the lives lost on October 7th, 2023, a speed friending event so that members new and old could get to know one another better, an event in which goers could see, smell, taste, and hear different aspects of Israel's culture, a Hamza paint night, and a host guest speaker from Stand With Us. These events greatly helped us foster and broaden our community and educate people about Israel and its rich history and culture. Next term, we plan to host twice as many events. With the 1,000 we are requesting, we will be able to host more events next term and the term after, so our community can host events that will have an even greater positive impact on your community, such as an event for Holocaust Remembrance Day, an event on Israeli history and myths surrounding Israel, another speaker from Stand With Us, an event educating people on diverse opinions and beliefs held by Israelis, Israeli youth, and so much more. With your support, we can create more meaningful experiences that enrich our campus community and promote inclusivity. We welcome any questions you may have and look forward to your partnership in helping us achieve our goals. Thank you so much for your time.
So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
Right.
Hello, thank you so much for being here. Good to see you guys again. I was hoping you could speak a little bit to the Stand With Us event that you had and plan on having. If it's the same speaker, what that's all about, what happened there.
Yeah, so this term we had Shachal Lee. She's the regional campus manager for Stand With Us, and she hosted an event walking a little bit through Israel's history, but really talking about the spectrum of opinions that people like within like Israeli culture or even within cultures within the US have about Israel. So it was kind of an activity where she read different statements and people went to different sides of the rooms, whether they agreed or disagreed with the statement, and then had a conversation about it. Next term, we're planning to bring, it's one of their lawyers who is kind of just coming to talk about rights that students have, just because there have been a lot of problems on campus with students not knowing their rights or needing that support. And we're very lucky that that speaker is actually willing to come at no cost. So for that event, it's really just to be able to like fund other costs necessary, not for the speaker cost specifically.
Awesome, thank you so much. I yield.
Anyone else? Okay.
Hey guys, so we guys are requesting, what other events would you guys plan to do with the, like you're saying, because are you guys gonna like do more than like what you guys have done already, or just?
Yeah, so this term we had $375 and that was used, we had bi-weekly events, as well as some other like one-off events, like our picnic was, I believe, either weekend of week 1 or right before school started, I can't quite remember, apologies. And next term we do plan to have weekly events rather than bi-weekly, and our events tend to be, I don't know, like maybe like smaller. And the way we're able to do it is each event doesn't necessarily cost a large amount of money. So this next term, it would be about $500 for winter term and then about $500 for spring term. And the hope would be to host a total of between 15 to 20 events with those funds.
And usually how many people do show up to these events?
We have usually about 30 students show up to each of our events.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
I know, do you have, I know you're saying you're talking about like, the event you did had like a thing where people went to like different sides of the room based on opinion. Did you have, or would you plan to have in the future some kind of like conflict resolution resource there just in case?
Like in case there is conflict that happened at that event?
They're just like, well, I guess, yeah, like in case like there's like two people who just really can't like
I can tell you a little bit. There was, at that event specifically that we hosted, there was one student who didn't love the way one of the statements was worded, and he didn't love it. He actually ended up just like sitting off at that moment, and I'm very good friends with him. I talked to him afterwards, and he ended up having a conversation with the speaker, and it ended up being a really beneficial and productive conversation. But we have like our mediating skills as much as we can. But of course, if anything was ever to get violent, which we hope it would not, we would get in touch with any resources that the university provides. But it's not something that we have experienced at all this term. So I guess that's that. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't mean violent confrontation. I just meant like keeping the discussion, like ways to keep it productive, you know, like make sure that people are listening to each other. Because I know like Israel's a really hot button issue right now, and a lot of people, you know, feel really strongly, lots of directions.
Yeah, totally understand. So for the most part, we do hope our club to just be a safe, positive, inclusive space, just like any other organization that's based on a country of origin or ethnicity is able to just celebrate its culture positively. That's a lot of what we try to create, because we don't think there's a space like that on campus right now. At the same time, we understand that due to current events, it can be a little bit more intense of a topic. And for that reason, we also try to host really meaningful events that do promote dialogue, like the event we've hosted with Stand With Us. I know at that event, the feedback that I received from students is that they wish that there was more opportunity for dialogue, that they could talk about, have more time for each of those statements to really break it down about why did they disagree. Maybe the overall theme or reasoning is actually the same, but they have different ways to look at a certain topic. So we do hope to kind of host that event again, either in the winter or the spring, with more time for dialogue. So it's kind of a balance between both just ways to like be positive, like our Hamsa Paint Night, which Hamsa is a symbol that's meaningful in a lot of different cultures, not just Israeli culture, Muslim culture, Christian culture, Hindu culture. And in that event, we talked about the meaning of that symbol, but also just had a fun paint night when people could paint and have something to take home with them. So it's kind of a balancing act that we're working through.
Yeah, thank you so much. I yield.
Don't.
Thank you guys so much. I think it's a great idea. I'm going to go ahead and make the motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Ducks for Israel OS number 365 in the amount of $50 to new line item administrative, $450 to new line item programming, and $50 to new line item administrative for spring term, and $450 to new line item programming for spring term as well, for a grand total of $1,000.
Second, Ramirez Pineda.
Motion made by Ms. Pineda. Oh, sorry, discussion. All in favor? So, opposed? Great, okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anyone here today for Alabama? Oh, okay.
Hello, I'm here on the Zoom. Can you hear me?
Yes, okay, wait a second before you.
Sorry?
Use CO2 to be.
I'm so sorry. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, 1 second before you go. Morena?
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, no worries.
I moved to hear the unallocated reserve request from Album Listening Club.
Second,
Motion made by Morena, seconded Dylan. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay, go ahead. Take it away.
All right, thank you. We're requesting money for apparel. We have 2 t-shirt designs. Our goal for producing this is to enhance the community aspect of Album Listening Club, and our main goal is to build community, and we see this as a way to work towards that goal. Our request forms are sent out to our members. We have their full names, their 9-5 numbers, their shirt size, and what shirt they want. We're ordering 56 shirts in total. The maximum a single member will receive is $14.75, which is 2 shirts, but most people only ordered 1, which is $7. So obviously we won't have to collect their 9-5 numbers. The designs have been approved by ASUO branding, and our goal is to build community through analysis, engagement, and discussion of musical works. This request fits with our mission and goals because by producing apparel, we are enhancing the engagement aspect of the club. We did not have the opportunity to participate in the budget process for this year, but we did do a hearing for next year.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us and for that detailed explanation. Wes.
Thank you.
Ramirez, Pineda, Morena.
I was gonna go ahead and make the motion and then we can do discussion after. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Album Listening Club OS number 353 in the amount of $603 to new line item apparel.
Second, Withers.
What? Motion made by Ramirez Pineda, seconded Withers. Is there any discussion?
Thank you.
Marina.
Yes, I apologize if I just didn't hear this correctly, but is each member getting two shirts or one?
Most members are getting one. A couple of our leaders and our more regular members 1 and 2, so we allowed them to get 2.
Okay, thank you.
Ludeman.
Question is the same, I yield.
Okay, great. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Other? Okay, wonderful. Enjoy your t-shirts. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Duck Dance Marathon. Do we have anyone here to speak? Here, Zoom. Maya here.
I moved to table the surplus request from Duck Dance Marathon.
Second Moreno.
Made by Commissioner second and Moreno. My only bit of discussion would be if y'all want to still, I mean, they don't have to be here for us to vote on it. But if y'all want to still, how much is it? 700. Yeah, Connor.
I guess my only thing is I feel like it's good to set the precedent of not.
I agree. I just wanted to remind everybody that
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, so we can, with
They've been on they've been like, I'm sorry, I forgot how to talk just now. They've been on the list like for weeks now, or I guess they were off it for a while, but like they were supposed to.
Sorry. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, sorry. I'm representative for Gloss.
Oh, yes, we haven't gotten to your request.
Sorry.
No worries at all.
Maybe drop in the chat, I just here.
So, yeah, I mean, this is a new request from this week,
Oh, okay.
so,
What happened with their last request?
they didn't want it.
Okay, so with the travel request surplus that they did a few weeks ago, we know the first time that it was like approved by Avery, who's not a senator, so that's why we denied it. And then the second time it was denied because they were asking for funds to use in fiscal year 26, but we can't be using funds from fiscal year 25 to be supplementing expenses in 26. So that's why that one was denied.
Okay, so just to be clear, they didn't show up because of like technical reasons, not just because they're disrespectful.
Sure. I think so. I mean, I spoke to Amaya, I spoke to Maya, the org leader, recently, and she seems to be.
Okay.
She doesn't seem to be respectful. So,
okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to know there's like an actual reason. Wait.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be disrespectful.
Okay.
Moreno and then Scrub.
I was just gonna say, I think Duck Dance Marathon is a huge event that happens, even though they're only requesting 700, and I could so see like us voting on it. I think it's a huge event that we all should really know about, and I would really appreciate to hear more about it and what they're planning on doing this year. So I want to move to table again, like Kim.
Is there? Oh, okay, there's already a question.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, is there any more discussion? Okay, then we can, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, gloss. Ready?
Yes, hello.
Hi. Go for it if you want.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you guys.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, okay.
Okay, great. If you want to introduce yourself and your request, that'd be great.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you want to introduce Gloss's surplus request, that would be great.
Yes, so my name is Ludwig, pronouns he, him. I'm the treasurer for Gloss, and we're requesting a $6,000 surplus for our Colloquium Series line event. So Gloss is the graduate linguistics of Oregon Student Society, and we have a threefold mission here to sort of support linguistics undergraduate and graduate students and sort of serve as liaison with the department. In addition to that, we also do outreach events, one of which is in the Colloquium series that we're requesting our surplus for. So the Colloquium series is one of the most widely visited events that Gloss hosts. It serves as sort of like a meeting point between linguistic students and people in the general community who might be interested in linguistics. Um, and we invite everyone to come. It is open to the public. On average, we get around 30 to 60 visitors each colloquiums, and we, oh, sorry. Um, and Colloquium is an event where we host speakers to give us their insight about what they study, what they do. It doesn't always have to be linguistics, but it's often related, adjacent to linguistics in some sense. For the next, for the rest of the remaining year, we are trying to host 6 speakers from um, out of state, but still on the West Coast. This quarter, we've had one speaker visiting from UC Davis, and we had 2 others who unfortunately had to cancel due to health related issues. Um, but just to bring over that one speaker, it cost us around $1,000. And so with the 6 remaining speakers we're expecting to host, and we've already scheduled 3 of them at least, and waiting for approval from the other. That's why we're requesting a $6,000 surplus for this. And yeah, all these events will be hosted at Stroud 211. So if anyone here is interested, everyone is welcome. We provide snacks, beverages, and yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Ludwig. We'll take questions. We'll go Haku and then Miranda.
Hi, thank you so much for coming in. I have a clarifying question. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Okay, great. So you said earlier that it's about $1,000 per speaker, and you have already approved 3 speakers, yes?
Yes.
Okay, but this is prior to getting the surplus funding, so do you have the funds now to pay for those 3 speakers if we were not to accept this request?
We might be able to afford one, but for the other one, we might have to find funding from other sources if we don't get this approval.
Okay. Yeah, I think that in the future, and I'm not sure if people agree, but in the future, it would be best practice when you do have the money to approve something like that, because in this scenario, if Senate wasn't comfortable with approving of this request, then you'd be in a hole, and it kind of puts Senate in a hole too, or in a corner, because now you're at a point where you have promised these people the funding when you don't necessarily have it. So I think that's just something you should do next time. But that's the only comment I have.
Okay, thank you.
Miranda.
Hi, can you hear me well? Hello? Hello?
Oh,
Hi, can you hear me well?
yes.
Awesome. Okay, so my clarifying question for you is about the number of speakers that you have. I know that you said you lost 2 of them, so does that still mean that you have 6, or planning on finding some other ones that you don't already have lined up?
Yes, we rescheduled some of them to come during winter. One of them's already approved that.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
so that was part of, yeah, what we accounted for because we got refunded for that. But yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I yield.
Wait a minute. Ben Fisher.
Hi there. Thank you for coming tonight. I have a couple questions. First of all, I saw on your Engage that you said this was also open to the community and you have had these speaker events in the past. Roughly how many people come to these events? And if you know, how many of those are students and how many of those are community members?
So we do have an attendance sheet. I don't have access to that right now. That is with our officers who are in charge of handling the Colloquium series. But yeah, on average, we would say we get around 30 to 60 people, mostly students from the department, but we do get people from just outside the linguistics department too, because we've hosted speakers who are from communications and cultural studies, so uh, it's interdisciplinary in that sense. Yeah.
Awesome. And I have another question about how on your form it also says that you already had roughly like $3,400 in this line item. And I was just wondering if you could elaborate about how much of that has already been used and how much of that you could allocate to these funds.
Yeah, so let me just check the latest uh sorry, 1 second. But I believe we have around 2,000, a little over that. So if with the other speaker coming back, we expect to spend the original amount that we were funded for that, which was again around $1,000. And then we also need to provide beverages and snacks for everyone, which costs us around like 100 to 200 maybe, depending on how much has been used up for any given week, with any speaker, with the number of people who come to Colloquium. So with that, we would be a little short for hosting our next speaker after that, depending on how these things turn out. But yeah,
Okay. Hey, Linwood,
that answered your question.
Oh, sorry. I am just going to go over your ledger really quickly. So in the original budget, there's $3,409 in the colloquium series line item. For expenses, 1,138 and 81 cents has been spent for colloquium series line item, and there is currently a balance of $2,270 and 19 cents in that line item. Just for full
Yes,
clarity.
that sounds right. Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I have one more question for you. In a previous question, when you were asked about if you weren't being funded, you said that you would look for other funding. Is there other funding that you've already like looked into or entertained, or was that just a possibility?
That's just a possibility. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Otherwise, we would have to cancel some of the events as well, which would be unfortunate.
Thank you for that clarification.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes. Well,
Okay, it's cool. Thank you for speaking with us tonight. I see in the Engage form that you want to have a diverse landscape for your colloquium events. I was wondering how you, like what process you go through to pick the speakers.
yeah, so the student body or the graduate student body are the one who organizes uh, arrangements for speakers to come here. So we try to get a variety of speakers from who represent all sides of linguistics, because we could have speakers from more social side of things, and then more physical, uh, hard sciences, who are adjacent to linguistics in their studies, right? And aside from that, we also have a DI speaker who we are inviting. We would like to, uh, provide more of that in the future. But since we're only looking at the West Coast, it does limit our options somewhat. We've been thinking about inviting speakers from the East Coast and South and other places as well, although that would cost more just because of the logistics. And yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you. I have another question for you. I was wondering how your club advertises these events, because I feel like it could be a really meaningful experience for a lot of students. And 30 to 60 average attendees is not bad, but I feel like if it reached a greater audience, it could have more impact.
Sorry, you cut out the last part. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I was just wondering, how do you advertise these events?
Oh, yes. So we post our events on Engage, and we have social media pages. We have a blog where we post these things too. So yeah, we do advertise it around.
Okay. Do you know how much engagement there is between like, because you're a grad organization, do you know if there's a lot of engagement with undergrads too?
Was undergrads, you said?
Yeah, undergraduate students.
Yeah, so yeah, there's always a couple of undergraduate students who come to Colloquium every week. They're very engaged and they're very interested. We had a speaker last week from I think she was from sociology or forgot, but yes, she's been interacting with a lot of the undergraduate students who visited last week, and there's been some really constructive and fruitful conversations that came out of that. So we definitely want to engage, we want to foster more of that environment.
Cool, thank you, I yield.
Ramirez Panetta.
Great. Hello. Thank you for being here tonight. I know you kind of touched on this earlier, but if Senate were to not approve your request tonight, would you all look for a different way of funding, or would it just be cutting certain speakers and cutting certain events you'll be hosting, or will there be maybe like a potential initiative to fundraise for the club to have the speakers? Just kind of like think like, yeah, I don't know if you have thought or if there is another way for you all to be like funded to get these speakers, or would it just be if it's not approved tonight, just cutting speakers?
Yeah, well, that's something we've been discussing for a while. We have considered the idea of raise fundraising, but we haven't decided on anything for certain. Um, we might have to cut some speakers depending on how this turns out. Um, yeah, it there's a lot of possibilities. We have multiple meetings about this that is something we're still thinking about.
Great, thank you, I yield.
Miranda.
Hi again. My other question for you is how much of the 1,000 per speaker goes to compensating the speaker for their time and service, and how much of it goes to airfare or accommodations? That's where some of it goes.
Well, it really depends for each speaker, because they might be coming from California, Washington, or other regions in the West Coast. So it really varies how much of it is for transportation, lodging versus yeah, others. So
Okay, so they're not all paid the same.
oh yes, they are. They are. So we might expect an increase in cost if we get speakers from further away. But yeah.
How much is the cost that you have set now to pay them?
Currently we have around 200. We have been trying to raise that over the years, but yeah, it hasn't been approved. We would like to be able to host more speakers and engage them to come here because the cost of living and travel has skyrocketed since COVID. So there's been a little bit of a disincentive for speakers to come. Um, yeah, hope
Okay,
that
so if
answered your
this got,
question.
sorry, if this got funded today, the amount that each speaker would get compensated or paid is $200 per speaker?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Finished.
Hi again. I was wondering how do your speakers hear about these events and why are they the ones that you pick and why do they come out to speak?
Well, we generally have a pool. I'm not the colloquium coordinator, so I'm not the most informed about this. But from my understanding, we have a pool of speakers that students showed an interest in, and we reach out to them, and then people who agreed or are interested in coming would write us back, and then we would plan around that for whenever they're available.
So $1,000 for per speaker. So you say everyone gets $200, but it varies for the other costs for airfare and lodging. I was just I'm a little confused about that because it doesn't seem like it would be $1,000 per speaker if people are coming from different places and their travel expenses
Well,
are.
yes, sorry.
Yeah, I finished. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So the way we reimburse the speakers for this is they would tell us what their travel plans are, and then they would send us the bill, and then we would reimburse them after that. So it has been we have ran into some issues where some speakers took advantage of that, and we have tried to set a limit, but uh, we really do want to engage with a more diverse array of scholars from outside of the department, outside of the state, outside of our expertise. So I think that's really important for us.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just my opinion. I'm not a linguistics person at all, so I don't know. But I feel like, I don't know, maybe it would be worthwhile to pick people from Oregon or more locally, because I feel like you can find diverse people. You don't necessarily need to go all the way to the East Coast or something. I don't know. I feel like maybe keeping costs, like travel costs low, so you could find, people of different demographics who are still from, the West Coast would be beneficial. Yeah, I yield. Thank you.
Yeah, we have invited scholars from Oregon before, and we
Yeah,
have some plans to for in the future too. But yeah, we haven't gotten any approvals for uh, those for certain yet.
Okay, I was wondering, have y'all considered setting up airfare and lodging prior for the speakers yourselves? So then you have a good gauge on the pricing and finances?
Yeah, that would be a question for our colloquium coordinator because I'm not sure if there's any difficulties involved with like doing that ahead of time. But this is how it's been done. So
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
Um, another, sorry, another possible idea might be are there any, do you know of any if there's events in Portland that are bringing speakers that maybe you could kind of piggyback and see if you can see if you can get some speakers that are already going to be coming here, something else?
yeah, we have reached out to professors from Portland and Oregon State. So
But if you wanted to get people from the East Coast who were traveling here to I don't know, sort of see if anyone's coming, who's coming, when they're coming. If that might be a little labor intensive, but
I should emphasize that that was just a hypothetical. We are at the moment only looking at people from the West Coast. Because that's more within our budget and more realistic and more likely for people to approve because yeah.
yeah, okay, thank you so much. I yield.
Hi, I just wanted to make more of a statement of concern, especially with the comment about taking advantage of the funds. I think it would be worthwhile to look into setting up those flights or the lodging beforehand or some kind of cost limit. So there's more specifics about how much you're spending per speaker, because that also seems to be a little bit unclear. And yeah, that's just kind of my stance as a regulator.
Yes, sorry, I misspoke about that. So that was something that happened in the past, but we have avoided that this term for the scheduling we have for this year, right?
Could you just clarify maybe how you have avoided that now?
Well, we would discuss this with the speaker beforehand, right? Like as we schedule when they would come here, if that makes sense. So if we get a positive response from speaker, we would discuss travel and lodging when they would come, and look at the possible airfares from then, and then make from that run a rough estimate of how much it would cost to bring them up here and how much a hotel would cost.
Okay, so just to clarify, you're in communication with them as they're, I guess, booking their own flights and lodging.
Yes.
Okay, I yield.
We're trying to be more engaged with and be very vigilant about who's coming and how they're coming.
Yeah, also a statement of concern. I don't see a lot of fiscal responsibility when it comes to an event like this at the moment. And I think there's some questions that could have been answered a little bit more clearly by somebody else. I think it's like the director or somebody that plans this more in depth. And in the event that you don't get funded for this, I hope that you've been taking some of the things that we've suggested into account and taking note of that. And in the event that you can't get them to come to Oregon in person, I think it would be still really beneficial for students to hear from these people. Maybe you can host like an online panel or something like that and spend some funds promoting it and getting more people on there to reach a wider audience. But yeah, those are my concerns.
Absolutely.
Dylan.
I agree with the concerns going on in the room. I'm just gonna put the motion on the floor. If there's more discussion to be had, we can go ahead with that. I move to authorize spending from surplus to group Graduate Linguistics of Oregon Society OS number OS038I in the amount of 6,000 to colloquium series.
Second, Ramirez Pineda.
Motion made by Johnson. Discussion.
I was just going to say that it was common practice on Senate last year to kind of just table an event like this until next time so that the student org, after getting feedback, could have some time to kind of, make adjustments and maybe make something that's more of a logistical plan and like layout. I really think you should consider getting the airfare and the lodging for the speakers as a student org yourselves. And then maybe coming back into Senate for us, because I know personally, if I were on the table voting for this, I would just feel way more comfortable with that prospect. So yeah, thank you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree that there should be more fiscal responsibility and some transparency in terms of communication between speakers and the org that's paying for them. But I wouldn't suggest like ideas such as you can have speakers online and speak to us through Zoom or get people from the West Coast because it's cheaper, because I feel like we've already set a precedent before where we spent more for one person to come from overseas for an event that's not even academic. So I feel like that's unfair to say that. I do agree that we should reject this. I personally will say no because I think that there should be more of a process to minimize the amount of money that we're actually spending unnecessarily. But I wouldn't suggest, oh, you should have a Zoom or get someone cheaper because I don't think that's fair.
Peters.
I was just going to second VP of Hackett's point that I think that I personally feel I need some clarification. Specifically, it sounds like from the colloquium manager, and it sounds like they are gonna have answers to our more specific questions about why is it $1,000 per speaker? Because currently I feel I don't understand exactly why it's $1,000 per speaker. So I wanted to just second VP of Hackett's thought to table.
Senator Wu.
Yeah, really quickly, I just wanted to agree with the statement of maybe tabling it. I don't feel extremely confident enough to support this, just as I'm also confused on exactly where the 1,000 is going per speaker. So I want to voice that I would like to table this, but understand if everyone would prefer to vote now. I am on board for both.
Are
you gonna?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Could I clarify about the cost so far?
Yes, go for it.
I just found this sheet here. So for our first speaker from UC Davis, we spent 429 on airfare, 368 on accommodations, and then 200. So that total to the 996.88. And for our second speaker, who unfortunately had to cancel due to health-related issues, it was similarly 467 for travel, for airfare, 325 for accommodations, and then 200, which totaled to 992.66.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Remember that.
I'm gonna move to table the request. I can do that.
We gotta vote on the motion that's on the table right now, and then we can come back to that. Okay, so
Once again, can we just all vote? If we vote no, can they come back, or do we have to table it? So I put the motion on the floor, Bill.
Right.
If we vote no, they can come back, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just to make a new request. Okay.
Yes.
Or if you wanna amend your vote, if you wanna do that too, you can, that's fine.
Amend your motion.
Amend your motion, I'm sorry.
Okay, I move to amend my motion
To what?
Oh. To authorize, like, do I have to say the whole thing again?
To table.
I move to table the surplus request from Graduate Linguistics of the University of Oregon Society.
Motion made by Dylan, seconded by Withers, all in favor. I'm sorry. Okay, all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed? Who's that? Right. Okay. Other? Okay, the motion will be tabled until our next meeting, which is January's.
I just wanna make sure that they know what we're looking for and that they leave knowing what we would like to see.
Yeah, I just wanted to really quickly say, Ludwig, if you want to meet sometime before the end of the term, or if you want to meet over winter break to go over the budget request, just because it was just tabled, please let me know. This is Tira, by the way, so, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ludwig, for taking the time to be with us
Thanks for
okay. Best buddies, you awesome, come on up.
Hi everybody, my name is Solange. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the treasurer of Best Buddies UO. So a little bit about Best Buddies. Best Buddies is an international nonprofit dedicated to creating friendships and job opportunities and independent living opportunities for intellectual and developmental disabilities. Here at UO, we create friendships by having events where we bring in members from the community with intellectual and developmental disabilities, like with our community partners, and members of the UO community together to have these events. And I'm here to request $162 of the surplus fund for an event that we had on November 21st in Peterson 105. About 30 to 35 people attended, and we painted t-shirts together. We bought shirts, fabric markers, and fabric paints. The total was $161.66. And the reason I'm requesting surplus is because we, on November 7th, put in a purchase order for an order for Michael's for the paint and shirts. And then it got denied, but the reason for the denial was because the soft member who opened the link, their computer automatically sent it to order pickup when in fact shipping was free. And so then, and the pickup was more expensive. So I went in to get that clarified on the 14th, and they were like, actually that's our bad. But then I resubmitted it, and then they let me know that at that time it was too late and shipping was not arrived in time. So then our event was on the 20th, sorry. And then on the 20th, my president went to go buy the materials, and she ended up buying a little bit more than expected. So then the total ended up being more than we had in the line item. So that's why I'm here.
Poor thing.
Any more questions? No hate to the softs people. They're very kind, and I didn't. Just an accidental thing.
It's okay, we know stuff. No, well, thanks so much for bearing with us, and I apologize on behalf of we'll go to Dylan.
I'm just gonna make a motion. This is super simple. I move to authorize spending from surplus to group Best Buddies UO OS number 257 in the amount of $162 new line item t-shirt party fund.
Second Woo.
Made by Dylan, seconded Peters. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, how much was the difference between what you had originally put in that line item to the 162?
Well, the difference was actually a lot. It was like almost like $80, but I think it's because my president bought more fabric markers, and they ended up being really expensive.
Okay, and are you gonna use those supplies for future events?
Yeah, we'll save them in our inventory. We'll use them again probably next year.
Yeah, thank you. I
Any other discussion? Okay, then let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great.
Thank you.
Look at the pictures.
Wait, that's awesome.
Okay, 1 second, before we move on to Portland Student Council. Okay.
Bye.
Maya, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, Maya. So here's what we're gonna do. We just moved to table your request, but I'm gonna move to take it off the table. We can see if we can do it. So I move to. Oh yeah, I moved to hear the request from Duck Dance Marathon.
Second letter.
Okay, by Lynn Pfister, second by all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Okay, Maya, do you wanna present or introduce yourself and your request for Duck Dance Marathon?
Sure. Also, I hope I wasn't late. I read the agenda and tried to time it as close to like 8:20 as possible.
That's, yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, hi guys. I'm Maya. I'm the executive director for Duck Dance Marathon. Duck Dance Marathon is a philanthropic org at UO that partners with the Children's Miracle Network and Peace Health Sacred Heart at Riverbend. Basically, we're a student org that hosts events and little fundraisers, and all the money that we raise directly goes to the NICU and PEDS unit over at the hospital.
Awesome, thanks, Maya. Do you have any questions? Do we have any questions for Maya?
What is the NICU and PEDS unit?
So the NICU and the PEDS unit. So at Peace Health, Riverbend, they are one of the few hospitals in Oregon that can take oh dear, what's the word? That they can take high profile patients. And so the NICU is the neonatal intensive care unit. Their patients are usually range from preemie newborns to like less than one. And then the PEDS units is the pediatric care units. They will take patients from a little younger than one all the way up to 17, 18. It depends on your case. And then once you're no longer a minor and an adult, you'll get like a primary care physician and move to general floors of the hospital.
Thank you. I yield.
No.
I was gonna go ahead and make the motion and then we can have discussion afterwards. I move to authorize spending from surplus to group Duck Dance Marathon, OS number 256I, in the amount of 500 to existing line item main event, 100 to new line item tabling, and 100 to new line item term meeting, in a grand total of $700.
Second.
Motion made by Maria, both sides. Is there any discussion for us?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that you want $100 for your tabling supplies, because in the question we're asked, what is the purpose for the one-time funding, you put $150. So I just wanted to make sure that you.
I think, let me look, because that I had to make a few adjustments because I had to take a big thing off of surplus because that's going to go into our main budget. I think, I don't know why I put 150 because I think 100 was what I meant and is fine.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. I yield.
Can you say what the total was one more time?
$700.
Okay. Any other discussion? Well,
That was 500 to.
yeah, okay. That's perfect. Any other discussion? No? Okay, let's go. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Great. Thank you, Maya, for being with us tonight. We will move on. Is there anyone from Portland Student Council with us tonight?
Hi, I'm here, Natalie.
Hi, Natalie. If you want to introduce yourself and your request, that would be great.
Yes, I'm Natalie Turman. I'm she, her pronouns. I am the co-director of the Portland Student Council, and today I'm requesting about $15,000 to help develop and host a series of events and provide resources for building a stronger connection among our students. Right now, the Portland campus does like a little spirit and community and culture there, seeing as a lot of us are graduate students. We do have a couple of undergrad majors that are present on the Portland campus, but our big goal is to host our industry night, which was hosted last year. It had about 130 students attend. This year, we would like to see that grow and be able to bring in more professionals and representatives of companies there. And then we would like to host a couple of reoccurring events that are more social based, like co-working sessions, watch parties to kind of build that University of Oregon school spirit for bigger game nights, and then just kind of general resources during like serious stress periods. Right now, there are no student-led campus-wide initiatives. And so this is a really big gap for our kind of experience as students here in Portland.
I also just quickly wanted to jump in. My name is Danielle. I'm also coming here from Portland Student Council, and I'm the treasurer. We were approved for $15,000 in the summer. However, that money was under executive sponsorship. So we are just asking to move that money to a direct surplus so that we can actually access that money and start providing events for students.
Yeah, because we didn't have any access this semester or this trimester, so we weren't able to host any events during the fall.
Okay, Danielle, Natalie, thanks so much for introducing yourselves and your request. That's great. We have senators with questions. I'm going to start. I remember the request that went through the exec co-sponsorship, but this wouldn't be transferring that money. This would be authorizing new money to your ledger.
Yes. Yeah, I believe in chatting with Priya, it seemed like this was the best option.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to clarify for senators. You said it was a transfer, or it's not a transfer, because that money is still there, like I said. But yeah, okay, great. Okay, I'm gonna yield to it.
I don't know. I think I'm not particularly sure, but from what I heard, and Senator Ducharme also said in the working group chat for the Portland campus that, and so maybe Senator Ducharme, if you're there, you can add on, but from what it says here, that the plan is to return the co-sponsorship to surplus and instead get the surplus. So they've been allocated that.
And yeah, I just spoke to Hunter about that this morning, and Soft said that you can't return a surplus anymore. Like it just gets swept at the end of the year. And so I just want to clarify that this isn't like an internal transfer. It's like $15,000. Okay, scroll.
So, yeah, hi, thanks again so much for being here today. I was going over the request and when it's multiple amounts being added up to a larger sum, I just like to add it up just to double check that it does total correctly the amount that you're requesting. And you were actually $1,895 over the amount you have requested. So 7,832 plus 4,723 plus 340 plus 4,000 equals $16,895, not $15,000. Can you clarify the purpose of that? It could be involved in the confusion maybe with surplus transferring and such, but could you maybe tell me why that is, or if it was just a mistake and you're actually requesting $16,895?
So actually when we looked at the budget a few days ago prior to this meeting, we did add a couple things just because we have some really interesting programming that we want to start running next term, including UO basketball, watch parties, and things like that to increase school spirit. So we increased some things that we would need for that. However, we did just take table and chairs off the budget because we were informed by campus that they had table and chairs that were going to be supplied to us. So right now, our current itemized expenses are at 15,758. So we are requesting an additional $758 on top of that.
So do you have like access to the request and like what you sent us that you can reference, like which line item specifically did you take money off of? Out of the winter term line item, industry night 2025 line item, subscriptions line item, and spring term line item, which one did you take that table and chairs money off of?
So it should have come off of the winter term event line item.
Okay, so what does the winter term amount total then to be?
It's now 6,665.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. So now your request is going to be for $15,758, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Beretta, then Potter.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, they were not able to use the 15,000 that they requested from surplus this summer. Co-sponsorship, sorry.
If somebody else wants to speak to this, you can, but I think they were able to use it, they just didn't explore the avenue of co-sponsorship.
Yeah. I think from last I recall, there was difficulty accessing the co-sponsorship funds from Public Food Council. And if maybe Natalie, you want to speak to that a little bit more, but we were discussing having a meeting with our financial director. That was the last I heard about this whole situation. So that PSC was better equipped to access their co-sponsorship funds. But yeah, we haven't found it.
Yeah, and I'll let Andrew hop in because he has his hand raised, and then I can add to that.
Hi, yeah. So technically PSC has that access to this money through the exec co-sponsorship line item. It is an extra layer, a whole extra layer of bureaucracy that isn't quite as set up as SOFS is, where they need to exchange emails with Hunter or somebody else with an exec to spend the money. And so, in theory, yes, they have the money, but in practice, they've had a very hard time actually accessing it. I don't think that's anybody's fault in exec. I just think that the way that we got them money in the summer was a workaround for the unallocated reserve. And since we've changed the rules on that, this is just a way to put this money directly in their ledger and make it standardize the process such that they will have a completely normal way of using their funds. And then I think that they took a look at some of their finances and were able to update some of the expenses, which is why they took off the chairs and tables, which accounts for the slight change in the total amount.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for that clarification. Was that it?
Yes, I yield. Thank you.
Okay, Bob.
Hi, this is more a question for the rest of the Senate. I was wondering if someone could clarify why this is a surplus request and not a transfer request.
Because the money is when we transferred it over the summer, we transferred it to exec's co-sponsorship line item. And exec can then use that to give it to their orgs, but it's not in their ledger right now.
I yield, thanks.
Sure.
Hi, yeah, so I yielded and I just went to go triple check that amount that I just read off of, and we are still $30 difference from what that I just confirmed with you. So would you be able just to go through the line item and the amount that you have on your side, just so I can confirm when I go ahead and make the motion that I'm saying the correct amounts and it adds up to the correct total?
Absolutely. I can look at that right now.
Yeah, of course. So winter term, what's the total you have?
Winter term should be 6,665.
Okay. For industry night?
Oh, industry night will be 4,723.
Okay. Subscriptions?
Subscriptions will be 340.
Okay. And then the spring term?
Spring term is 4,000.
Okay, so that is what I have on my page, and I believe there's just like maybe a math error, but It actually is going to be 15,728 instead of 58, if that makes sense on your end. So yeah, 15,728 to all my fellow senators, that is the actual amount that they are requesting. Thank you, I yield.
Thank you. Ludwig.
Yeah, I would just like some clarification maybe from you guys or from someone on the exec of what happens to those funds currently in the exec co-sponsorship. It can't go back to surplus is what I'm hearing. Does it go back to surplus at the end of the year if it's not spent? Okay.
Yes.
Is that like the plan or is there still a plan to use those funds? For allocating those funds?
I mean, technically, they were used for the authorization of PSC, but if they don't, then they'll just get swept back to surplus like all the other wars.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
I just wanted to go over a comment that I saw really quickly at the end of the surplus request, talking about giving approval for some purchases like the camera and the inflatable and that kind of thing. I just want to double check that that approval was given.
Yes, so we did look at that and we are currently trying to get in contact with the library and with IT just about the cameras. Currently on the Portland campus, the only way for student groups to access camera supplies is by renting it out at the library. And that is not feasible for us as a large student-led group that's planning a lot of really big events. So we are still trying to get in contact with IT to learn more about that, because that's honestly the first time we've come across something like that. And there's not a lot of procedures set up for student-led groups in Portland, so it can be a little challenging at times.
And to just add context there, to kind of give some backstory there is also kind of a disconnect across like printing for student organizations, booking event space for student organizations. There's still a lot of things being worked out on the Portland campus, so this will just add convenience as we try to build out our events and like winter calendars in that community space.
Thank you for the clarification, Senator Sproul.
Yeah, since I just went through the hassle of organizing all that, I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to group Portland Student Council OS number OS 103 in the amount of $6,665 to line item winter term, $4,723 to line item industry night 2025, $340 to line item subscriptions, and $4,000 to line item spring term for a total of $15,728.
Second. Motion made by Sproul, seconded Ludwig. Gibbs.
Aye.
Lopez. So.
Aye.
Potter.
Aye.
Agnew.
Aye.
Pinheiro.
Aye.
Moreno.
Aye.
Fisher. Withers.
Abstain.
Ramirez Benetta.
Aye.
Wu.
Aye.
Nagaraja. Aye. Esbeth. Aye. Magdalena.
Aye.
Scruff.
Aye.
Dillon.
Aye.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Ducharme.
Abstain.
Cole.
Aye.
Jenkins. Aye. Great. Nice, yeah, as well. Thank you, Daniela.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Absolute Improv, thank you so much for waiting. Come on up. Good evening, everybody. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your time, first of all. Congratulations on the new seat. My name is Trent Atkins. My name is Trent Atkins. I am the Absolute Improv president. I also have our public relations and social media operator, as well as one of our teammates here, and they can introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Annika Fox. I run the PR for Absolute Improv here, and I'm taking head on the performance request here.
Hi, I'm Alex Gibbon. I am a passionate team member, and my favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard.
But if you don't know what Absolute Improv is, we're the only improv team here on campus, which we're really proud of. We do 6 different shows per
school year, so that's 2 per term. And we have a really unique opportunity, and that's why we're here for the surplus request. The University of Alberta actually reached out to us and asked us to come to an event. And we're looking forward kind of that surplus to bring some of our teammates to go on out.
Yeah, so they sent out an invite to us about a week ago, and I asked the team what they thought, and they all seemed really enthusiastic.
We made it here.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's start planning. So the festival takes place in the University of Alberta in Canada from January 30th to February 2nd. We're proposing to fly up on the 29th of January and then coming back that Sunday, February 2nd. They haven't released an official itinerary for this year, but they have sent me their itinerary for last year, which consists of us performing in 2 shows up there and taking place in a couple of workshops to kind of help improve our improv skills and learn what they have to offer us.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I want to first say a big thank you to Annika. Annika came into the suite the other day and she was like, how can I make this work? And she spent maybe 2 hours in there, like trying maybe even more working with me and stuff. So thank you, Annika.
Thank you for helping.
You're too diligent, of course. Okay, Withers and then Fisher.
Hi, thanks so much for being here. This seems like a really awesome opportunity. I just wanted to make sure that everything's gonna be fine with travel, even with winter break and everything.
Yeah, and because she did it all in one day, that is still within all the deadlines they need to. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I hate to do this, but I love improv, so I will make the motion and then discussion get out after necessary. I move to authorize spending from surplus to group Absolute Improv, OS number 272I, in the amount of $6,250 to line item University of Alberta Improv Festival travel budget.
Second.
I gotta go. Motion made by Withers, seconded Scro. Is there any discussion, Victor?
Hi, thank you guys so much for coming. I was looking at the engaged form and it says that you're sending 7 members, is that correct?
Yes, we're looking at having up to 7 people come. So we've had 7 members of our team express interest. We're not sure if everyone is committed fully, but they're all very enthusiastic, so we're thinking that it will likely.
Was that like a hard cap that you put on people that you were sending, or is that just who expressed interest?
Yes, that's a hard cap on. It's gonna be 7 max.
Okay, for sure. I yield.
So yeah, additionally, sorry to answer your question as well, is we have a team of 9 people right now. So it's those team members that have auditioned are on our team that we trust to perform on stage here at the University of Oregon. We understand it's an international thing, so that is something just to add. And those flights are, refundable, where if 7 can't make it, it still works out.
Also, I think it's really cool they invited you guys.
Right? So they tried it last year and we just couldn't, it just was dead last.
And before we get started, I just want to speak to that a little bit. Annika had asked, is it if there's 7 but we don't know? Like I said, you probably want to budget for more people because you can't, we're not going to be meeting during winter break, so that's why they asked. So, Scro, and then Annika.
Yeah, I, like Rachel, am the number 1 fan of the improv group. Love this squad. This is a great opportunity. I know this is just a frequent question that is asked on a lot of Senate, and I just know how this works, but I wanted you guys to explain, kind of just started to ask this, but how you normally hold auditions and then you have a team and such. A normal question is, how did you select these people to go that includes all of campus and is open to a lot more people? So with it being 7, could you just briefly tell them about your process and how you select these people?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Liz. So we have 2 basically parts of our club. We have our open club, which is for anyone and everyone, and we have 2 different rehearsals for anyone on campus to just have a good time, have a laugh. Life is kind of hard sometimes, so really just we're here to hang out and have a good time. And then additionally, if you're really additionally, if you're really interested in coming, being a part of our club, and that's what those 9 people are for, is we have an audition process in winter. We'll be getting new members this next term, which is really exciting and kind of terrifying a little bit. So it's the really main thing is if you're coming to opens and you decide to come to auditions, we already kind of know you. If you're improv is kind of one of those clubs, it's can't really advertise it as much because those that want to do improv will find improv. So yeah, I know. Yes, seriously. Yeah, so that's kind of the overall thing. So we host team members have 3 different rehearsals a week. And that's pretty wild in itself. That's Monday, Thursday, and that closed rehearsal for those teams. But yeah, that's what we do.
Thanks, Ayul.
Potter, then Miranda.
Hi, thank you for coming. First off, I just wanted to give kudos to Annika. I literally met with you before class, went to class, came back, and you were still finishing it, so that's really impressive. And then my question is, I know we had discussed that you were thinking about maybe offering a per diem for the improv team. Did you decide on that, and if so, how much?
Yeah, so we decided on a per diem of $250 per person, totaling $1,750. And we're requesting this per diem because we're not requesting a budget for accommodations while we're there. University of Alberta has offered to billet us in one of their club members' houses, so we don't need to spend money on accommodation. So we figured that we would request a per diem while we're there for our food. Yeah.
And that per diem was calculated through the government.
Yes,
per
yeah, I
diem.
believe you and I worked together on that.
Yeah, it was there's the website you sent me.
So that'd be $250 for over the course of 4 or 5 days.
You. Right.
I know you mentioned some workshops. Did the university ask you to like lead these workshops, or are you just going to be participating in them and learning from other improvers?
So we would mostly be learning from others. I know last year they brought in 2 people who were sort of experts in their field who would be leading these workshops. But we'd also be offering some of our expertise from our place down in Oregon. I know we're the most southern group that's going to be coming up. So they're all from like Saskatchewan, Richmond, BC, Alberta, and I think there's some people from Washington coming. But yeah, I think the 2 main workshops are going to be led by experts, and we would also probably offer our own advice.
That sounds super exciting. I'm so excited for this. I yield.
Awesome. Anybody else? Okay. You.
Aye.
Potter.
Aye.
Ackles. Lanier.
Aye.
Miranda. Fisher.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Miranda.
Aye.
E.
Aye.
Nagaraj. Aye. Aspen. Magdalene. Squirrel. Dylan.
Aye.
Littleman.
Aye.
Allen.
Aye.
Ducharme.
Nay.
Cole.
Aye.
Jenkins, Cisco's.
Aye.
Garrett.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. I have so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for staying.
Thank you. All right. All right. Spencer, I think Spencer joined the Zoom. Spencer, are you with us? I told Spencer show up around 7:40.
Hello.
Yeah, and so thank you for bearing with us, Spencer. Do you want to go ahead and present to Warsaw's request? Have a good night.
Totally.
Thanks for bearing with me, buddy.
Okay. So, okay.
So awesome. So cute. They're hugging and like, okay, that's so
Spencer, go for it. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, I'm gonna speak now. So we are requesting $3,106 for the upcoming career fair in Portland. It's run by the Portland Trailblazers at the Moda Center. We're looking to take about 56 students, and so the money would cover about a $2,000 charter bus rental, and then the rest of the 3,000 would go to $17 tickets per student. This event will be open to non-due paying students, so not exclusive to club members who pay. But yeah, you have any questions, concerns?
Okay, yeah, before you guys go, I'm just gonna say I met with, president this morning. Very standard request. We funded things very similar to this before. 56 people, one bus, here and back, and they're $17 per person tickets, which are fantastic. It's a steal. Just saying. Ludeman and Potter.
I agree entirely with our Senate president, so I was just gonna put this on the table. I move to authorize spending from surplus from Group Warsaw Sports Business Club, OS number 271, in the amount of $3,106 to existing line item name, or new line item name, EGI.
Secretary.
Motion made by Ludeman. Is there any discussion? Potter.
Thank you for joining by Zoom. I think this is great. I just had one question. What made you guys decide on a charter bus instead of like a school bus or something like that?
That's a great question. Well, I think when I was talking to everybody at our last meeting, they I don't think that the motor pool is not like an option, and I think we've people in the club have used the charter buses before, and so it was kind of just like second option, like as far as like what we were aware of in the meeting.
Screw, then move.
Oh, I was gonna make a motion, I know.
Awesome. Withers.
I was wondering how you guys are picking like who goes on the trip, like if more than 56 people want to go.
Right. So we'll open up like a form and we'll post it. And so like a lot of the people that show up to our meetings aren't due paying. So there's a lot of opportunity for people who don't necessarily pay to be in the club to go. And once we gather all of those submissions, we'll like as exec go through those and see whether or not like I think if there are a lot of applicants, it'll be based on relevance, like what they are interested in doing with their career and like what companies will be there at the fair.
Cool, thank you, Megan.
Question for senators. What does the comment from ASUO Finance mean? JV like usual?
Honestly.
JV transfer request. What is that?
Where?
On the very bottom of their form, it says due to the time off of winter break, we will likely be doing this as a JV like usual.
Right, but it's just like a different type of transfer request, so, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought it was something. Thank you, Ariel.
Like you.
Joint venture.
Okay, anybody else? Okay.
Aye.
Lopez. So, Potter. Aye. Anywhere.
Aye.
Moreno.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Withers. Aye. Ramirez.
Aye.
Blue.
Sorry, I couldn't get the button.
No worries. Nagarajan. Aye. Espen.
Aye.
Magdalena. Scrow.
Aye.
Dillon.
Aye.
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 Ducharme.
Nay.
Cole.
Aye.
Jenkins. Ismail.
Aye.
Gary.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Have fun in Portland.
Yippee! Thanks, guys.
All right. We have concluded financial business. Now onto the, can you pull up this bylaw or this ballot measure? Now we can talk about the ballot measure Concord recently passed. That was worked on by myself, by Bella, and by Chair Esbeck, and Senator Vice Chair. And it's a lot. I don't know. Do you guys want to start sort of introducing?
So, yeah, a lot of it, I'll just say, is pretty general among like other bylaws, specifically the discipline section, and then like the section that's about like, in case of like weather or like significant events like a pandemic or something like that. I think the part that like you would like want to pay attention to is specifically like duties and responsibilities. I would like to note that we took a lot of input from other people and took a lot of input from finance senators too, included aspects of like financial education within just a committee, like not just like the ones that we did like spring term or like over the summer, like our own to kind of go more in depth since we're not working with those as much ourselves. And yeah, I guess if you have any questions, feel free to ask any of us, but.
Yeah, I was gonna say another really, really important part of this was the establishing the purpose of academic committee. We always ask orbs when they ask, come for surplus or fund, what does this tie back to your mission? And I think a lot of times, even finance committees, we're making decisions and ask ourselves, does it tie back to our mission? And so this is a really good driving purpose, guiding life for academic committees now, but also.
I would also like to note that the ballot measure is going to combine first year rep and the undeclared seat. That is also essential.
That's good.
Also just another thing that like we established is a vice chair, which we didn't have before, so making Aaron's position a real position. And then having the vice chair be kind of like an executive designee and going to that, because we're the only committee that like doesn't have that directly.
And I want to just note that our job with this is to vote on this. It's our duty to vote on this, to be able to go on to the so if there's any questions or a motion, this is just like a move to adopt, whatever. You don't have to read the whole thing. Right? Just I move to adopt academic committees. Fisher.
I move to adopt academic committee bylaws 2025.
Second by Ms. Panetta.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Ms. Beck. Is there any discussion? Okay, this is kind of big, so I hope there is. It'll go Moreno and then Mel.
Is the only change with the seats that combination of?
That's correct.
Okay.
No.
What is the mandatory student organization? Or sorry, like where would I find that? Would that be in SharePoint?
I'm sorry, one more time.
The mandatory student organization attendance resolution.
Yeah, if you go to the pocket governance, it's on page 37. I've had to remember this so many times too, I can tell you that. Wait, sorry, it's a resolution. The resolution of that, yeah, okay.
Sorry. Thank y'all for working on this. You put so much work into it. Just to clarify, so you're combining first year rep and then undeclared. Is there also in here anything about a Portland campus senator? I assume not. I was just wondering.
Yeah, I'll just note that like we considered that, but we also thought that that would kind of be a lot to expect a Portland senator to hold the same duties as we do, since a lot of that like is like, being on campus and interacting with students here. I think that's why they like were entertaining me like an executive. But anyway, that does not apply here.
And yeah, on the last page you can see that in business vote yes. Anybody else?
So would that seat be there are first year and they're undecided, or can they be a different year and undecided?
It's just gonna be first year rep. An issue that we were like seeing with the undeclared seat is that it's also just only first years. Like there's not very many like second or third or fourth years that are also undecided. And so it just felt like a repetition in the seats, and that it could be equally represented by one seat.
First year rep doesn't have to be undecided feature.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be undecided.
And in the data that I received from the UO registrar, it showed like 80% of cited students were also first year students.
Just to speak to that point too, we have like some of the requirements is reaching out to UO Senate and academic club tags, and so already that's like something that we kind of have to like create something new for the first year rep and undecided, and like for UO Senate, for example, like reaching out to the librarian, but then there's like 2 seats and 2 librarians, like so combining those sense for like the responsibilities outlined in the bylaws.
Anything else? Let's vote. Lopez. Muhammad. Bill. Carter.
Aye.
Danielle.
Aye.
Moreno. Fisher.
Aye.
Withers.
Aye.
Ramirez Pineda.
Aye.
Wu.
Aye.
Nagarajan. Aye. Spec.
Aye.
Bankman. Stroh.
Aye.
Dillon.
Aye.
Bellman.
Oh, aye.
Aye.
Ducharme.
Aye.
Cole.
Aye.
Jenkins. Here. I say aye as well. All the elections were checked. This would have been.
Should we also just clarify that those seats will not be combined until next year?
Yeah.
Just to be sure, we just appointed that seat, or those seats, so.
Yeah, so that won't go into effect until after the next election. Or. You won't be? Yeah, it won't be, yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, great. Next. Oh. Second.
Hello, everyone. Happy last week of Senate of the term. And I hope you all have a wonderful winter break. Okay, I'll start my spiel. So we hired our new events coordinator, our second events coordinator, Ming Kim. So our student engagement department is fully staffed. Woo! Yeah, awesome. Okay, also the Association of Big Ten Students has finalized their priorities, their lobbying priorities. So it's gonna be awesome because ABCS kind of has a list of priorities that they're going to lobby on when we go to DC, but ASUO, we can also make our own legislative priorities as well. And I am just gonna kind of say some stuff to put on the radar for next term because there's not that much to update on this term. But party registration will be occurring winter term along with a bunch of mini like ASUO lobbying info sessions. So make sure to tell your friends and make sure to go yourselves if you're interested in lobbying. Because we're also going to be lobbying in Salem respectively in the winter term. So if you want to go to the Capitol, then you should definitely go to those sessions. Also the elections board winter workshops will be occurring and potentially a flea market. So a lot of really fun and exciting things. It's gonna go by really quickly next term. So, and if any of you are interested in kind of being in the loop or being in the group chat or being involved, then just teams me and I'll connect you to the right people. And I also wanted to know that ASU will be helping with tabling at the SNAP fair, which is really exciting and more information to come on that. And that's all I have to update you on.
Awesome, thank you. I hope you have a happy finance committee reports.
I am going to say right now that I probably don't have any weekly updates. Sorry, I completely forgot about the fall updates thing. So PFC update, we have 1,151,100,000, right? 119,000, I think that's the number spent so far. Our last budget hearing for the term is on Thursday, so tomorrow at 6 p.m. And I actually am not sure what room we're in, so I'm not gonna look at you guys. And budget hearings will start again on January 6th, so be there or be square. It's in Friendly tomorrow?
Really? It's not, it's in the Miller, it's on this.
It's in the Miller room, okay. Oh, we'll be here tomorrow. Anybody wants to come party with PFC? We have a full lineup tomorrow night, so maybe, think about bringing your PFC people some coffee or something. And your clerk too. And then just really quickly for the rest of my PFC update is I just wanted to remind everybody to please be respectful during PFC hearings. Yes, you may not be a PFC senator, but I still want the organizations that we are serving and that we have chosen to serve to feel like they are being respected and heard by the people that are supposed to represent them. So that means that even if you aren't a PFC senator, sure, yes, you can be working on your laptop, but I would also ask that, you pay attention and you are actively listening to the requests being made. I don't want you to go into these PFC hearings and just have everything go in one ear and then out the other. And additionally, like you would in Senate, please stay off your phones and just it's still a PFC meeting, even like if we are taking a break, even if we don't have an organization directly in front of us. And PFC still needs to have conversations during these times. So please just be respectful when you're in PFC hearings, even if you aren't a PFC senator. And yeah, I think that's for my vice president update. One thing that I also just wanted to say, no, I totally forgot it. Sorry, I yield.
Okay, Mr. Chair.
Alrighty, so Friday, there are two CFC budget hearings and a meeting over Zoom. These will both be over Zoom, and I sent out the Zoom link today via email. So it'll be 12 o'clock for Daily Emerald, and then after Daily Emerald, we'll have our normal meeting. And then at 2:30 will be Lane Transit District. So those are should be pretty standard. And then a co-op update. The rough plan is for us to have the budget hearing for in the first week of winter. They have expressed interest in coming to Senate to give a presentation. Talik is trying to visit the center with a group of folks. And if you're interested in that, I figured a group of max 6. I feel like that's probably about the right amount. And then just an FYI, the largest, like any organization, the most of their money goes to their salaries, just because people wanted to know like where most of the money is going to. It goes to salaries, and then there will be more financial information to follow in the coming budget process.
Awesome, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, DFC met Monday to discuss the two big things that are happening this week. One of them being a meeting with Trone, the director of forensics, and also the budget hearing that we have on Friday, the third budget hearing for University Theater. And some of the things we talked about for theater is we don't think we're gonna grant, at least right now, we are constrained with these big requests. But also some committee members are not happy with the lack of transparency from University Theater. So we're thinking that maybe it's not a good idea to grant this full increase as of right now, but things always change. And then for forensics, we did have a meeting with the director, Trone, just about a lot of the things that we heard from the students after the budget hearing. If you guys remember, he stepped out of the room and we got to hear directly from a lot of mock trial students about whether there's a need for that travel logistics person and also a coach, and how they felt in terms of favoritism with the debate side of forensics. And he answered questions really well. He is a debater professionally, so he's really good. And what we've been talking about was there's clearly a need for somebody to support mock trial, especially in that coaching aspect, since debate does have that support and mock trial does not. But we are reconsidering hiring this full salary, full-time staff person because it is being partially paid by the Honors College and by us. So it's not totally clear right now if the Honors College will be using this person for travel logistics and then partially helping out forensics. So lots of things up in the air right now, and we have our budget hearing with University Theater on Friday at 1 p.m. I do not have a treasure update. Thank you.
University Senate met today. We had 4 votes. One of them was changed the mission statement essentially of the Scholastic Review Committee, which we voted on and approved. One was a change of the mission of the Oversight and Shared Governance Committee, formerly known as the Committee on Committees, and we approved that. We added a new major to the College of Arts and Sciences. It's going to be Material Science and Technology. Approved that. And then we voted on the curriculum report for the fall of 2004. And then we had a discussion about rechanging a University Senate committee name. The committee name is the Committee on Sex and Gender Inclusion and Access. And so we're sort of figuring it out. And we got to hear a presentation from the Vice President at SCA student, something about the enrollment numbers and what that sort of means for the university and funding lines. Yeah. Okay.
Academic committee met today for last meeting of the term. Really excited because we were finalizing our newsletter. Not to toot our own horn, but I think it's really great and really fun to look at. If you want to see it, I would love to send it to you. We're meeting Thursday and Friday with the exec to just get like ASUO approval from the president to like send it out to students, but hopefully that goes well and we can do that.
Hi, just a few updates. Please remember that by the end of next Friday, you need to have attended 3 org events. Unless you're PFC, you just need to attend 1 cultural org. However, if you have some concerns about that, just please communicate with me and we will work something out. Additionally, please respond to my teams. Thank you. I yield.
Garrity remembers her UC update.
Hey chat, I'm back. Anyways, I remember my VP update, yeah. Senator Cole, Ravi, Daphne, and I have been working with some law school student organizations to kind of help them, or kind of get into talks, better ways to support them, like through required events, like programs council meetings and new leader trainings and all of that fun stuff, because there's kind of been, we've all kind of had a hard time communicating between us, like PFC and student engagement and the law school organizations, about requirements and about when things are due and about when things are happening. And so, and of course, like the law school and undergrad and general graduate terms and whatnot don't really line up. And so, yeah, we're working with them to try and figure something out to better support them in the future.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, I'll make this brief. Calendars, February 7th, we know February 1st is
Bonanza.
right, February 7th, Friday, February 7th, Friday afternoon. Planning on hosting a training about collaborative leadership. We're bringing some people down from Portland State who are like experts in this and they train legislators on it. And I think it's great. Elections Board is doing it, but we're going to tag on because we get a fix it. Additionally, sort of you are getting a shout out with ABTS when we are going to Washington DC in March. Because I don't know if you guys know about like the maps that are made on campus, like you can see like your classes, and we're working on a couple other maps right now. And so because of our maps, we're getting a shout out, ABTS. And I just wanted to say one other thing. I think we talk a lot about like connecting with students a lot, like whether that be here at Senate or ASUO, but like I think that starts with like holding the door for people, like saying hi to people, and making them feel seen. And so that's something we can all start doing today. I know with like finals and stuff, people just like but just like I want to encourage everyone to start, just recognizing people. Okay, with that being said, I hope we all have a really happy holiday, a good break. I'm gonna do something different with the minutes from now on. If anyone objects to the minutes, just say I object, but I'm just gonna ask if there's no objection, give me a proof. Great, so without objection, can we adjourn?
I'm adjourned.
See you next year.
Eager to get out. Liz, are we gonna make it? Do you want to try? You can work out here right now. I have water. I just say that oh, really? So yeah.
Yeah, and it's supposed to start.